change and grief.
So important. And again, the word change continually comes up together with the word grief. So I think
Right.
before we do anything else, let's talk about the relationship between those two words, because you made a very conscious and deliberate choice to do this work using the word grief. But when
Right.
you really net it out, what you're talking about is what are the emotional reactions when we're going through any kind of change or transformation. So I'd love for you to just expand a bit about what's the relationship between the word change and grief.
Sure. So let me define grief the way we define it in our book. Any emotionally traumatic event that is significant enough to sort of alter a person's sense of reality will cause them to grieve, right? My brother puts it another way. Grief is the emotional and sometimes physical response to a significant change that the person perceives to be irreversible, will cause them to grieve, right? And so as we began to research the book, we intentionally did pick the word grief because it has such a strong connotation. Now, the flip side of that is it also has a very narrow connotation, which is what we are trying to change through our work, right? When people hear the word grief, they immediately think of the loss of a loved one, a death in the family. And so organizations go, well, hey, we're not sending flowers to any funeral homes this week, so we must be okay, right? The reality is, if you look at any of the change, the science behind change, all of those models have the 5 stages of grief built into them, right? The problem becomes that the change management models ignore that, right? They go through the typical identify the burning platform, communicate the burning platform, tell people how wonderful life is going to be after you implement this massive change in their lives, make the change, hold people accountable, move on, right? Nowhere in there, in that model, that model is not aligned with the science behind change and those models, right? Because all of the science says people go through this huge emotional struggle when change occurs in their lives, be it personal or organizational. But none of the change management models really comprehend that, right? And nobody creates the space in their process or teaches the leaders how to have the conversations that need to be had to help people deal with the emotions that they're feeling, right?
You're really bringing back the humanness